it's a unique role, and it's an honor to drive because it's only basically one person out of the whole team that drives the robot. So this year, I'm gonna compare it to last year. Last year I wasn't very involved, but this year, it's basically like, it was my life for, what, 10 weeks? Like around 3 months. So I helped the code a little bit, but I was more involved during the competition when we were driving the robot around and stuff.
I'm Jared. I'm the team leader, or sub-team leader of coding. Sorry. I'm the sub-team leader of coding. I do the stuff that Brian doesn't, you know. Basically, I code all the motor controllers and the values and make sure we can connect to the Rio and the radio and compete in our competitions.
That is important.
What you might want to touch on autonomous?
Oh yeah, so the first 15 seconds of our game is autonomous period where the robot does everything by itself. And that's basically my baby. That's where I go putting on my work and yeah.
So know where it's at.
What?
How does it know where it's at?
Oh, so we have this chip in it called an IMU. It's a 6-axis chip with a gyro built in it. So we built this thing called an auto trim. You know how like airplanes, you have the little switch where you can use it to drive straight. We basically did that, but we can drive in a straight line multiple times, and it will autocorrect its motor so they'll drive the same speed.
Yeah, we can set that up right now. We're connected to the robot. The way we drive, we have this thing called the driver station. We use these really cool joysticks. It's really fun to drive. It's connected to the computer, and the computer basically builds the code into the Rio, which is kind of like the brain. So there's two basically parts of the game. There's autonomous, which we talked about, and then teleop is where the drivers step in and start driving the robot during the game. That's for 2 minutes, 15 seconds.
So this is our autonomous code that we did for one of our, so we had 3 different autonomous codes for each different scoring method
Please use the
that we
straight
had
one.
in our game. We only used 2 of them, but we had 3. This is the one for just drive straight to put the gear that we put, the gear that goes in that little hopper, and
Yeah, the game piece gear is 15 inches in diameter.
so that was one, but we can also,
Don't hit the camera. Are you doing right or left?
that was
We're
middle.
going,
You
we're
want me to
going
do-
left. We're going to turn left. So we
Yeah.
should
Then
probably
point
go
it towards the wall a little bit. I may stand over here and protect the camera.
How long have you been doing it?
4 years, and I have bruises on my
Left
ankles.
here. We're doing right here, which means we're too much, so we can set it up.
Oh, don't hit our water.
No, I mean like set it.
Just
I mean set it up like right here.
Okay.
Yes, right. It's how much we It shouldn't go too far. So.
Famous last
The
words.
beauty of this program is this is how our team runs. There we go.
So you
Now,
saw,
if you noticed, when it turned, it overcorrected and then it came back in a line. That's the inertial unit correcting with that. Go ahead, Jared, sorry. You do you.
no, you said exactly what I said. You did that.
Now, these robots weigh 120 pounds, cost $4,000 each. Ours run at 13 feet per second, and our reputation this season is that of a cruiser. We have a very, very low center of gravity. You have the maximum number of motors in our gear train, and we put a lot of people around in it.
It's running by itself.
Does that flashing light mean
Yes. Yes, it does.
We're gonna do a slow run by the aisle. You can take a good look at the robot.
Please don't hit anything.
I'm trying not to.
Yeah, if you've got a bag or a foot in the
Oh,
aisle,
and if you could not
might
tell
help
people,
save.
that'd be good.
You guys touch the robot you guys like to, you know?
Okay. So basically, the reason why we had such a low center of gravity and why we were being able to be so defensive, we actually have a think traction, and that is powered on three 32 motors on each side, which is the maximum number of motors that you're allowed to have in the first robotics rules. And we actually have West Coast drive, so we have no outer bearings, so our wheels are as spaced out as they possibly can be to make it as sturdy and as robust as possible. So we kind of bully people in game.
Yeah, it's really fun running into robots and just pushing them out of the way. It's really satisfying.
Do we have the video of us tipping?
Oh, yeah.
It's on Monica's.
Titles?
It's on Monica's.
I don't know what we have access to.
The bully.
Yeah, we're not on Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
We'll do that some other time.
The important thing to note is that, as Alex has said, I'm a little scratchy because we just come back from the state championship, where we got eliminated in the quarterfinals. But the important thing to know is, when this game kicks off, we know nothing about it. Alex is truthful. We get a 150-page rule book, which he digests in an hour, and he comes back and he says, okay, here are the things that are important. We need to carry gears, we need to climb, and we need to shoot balls, in that order. And then Cecilia and her sub-team leader, Christine, they take Alex's strategy and they design every single part on that robot. The chassis is cut from raw aluminum tubing. The only things on it that are purchased is this West Coast drive, is a pre-made gearbox that accepts the spec motors and the drive shaft.
We have the wrong instructions.
Yeah, well, that's not neither here nor there. So everything that's on that robot is a thought of a high school student, designed in CAD by a high school student, fabricated by Connor and Company, high school students, assembled, wired by Brian and Mark, again, high school students, and most of it is done just with adult supervision. One of the things that we judge our season by is how involved I need to be. If I've got my hands on the robot, we failed. And so we've had a good season. I got in it twice at our first competition where we found out that the gearboxes weren't assembled correctly, even though they were assembled per the instructions. And once we fixed it, I haven't touched it since. This is how our season works. They run the team. That is the T-Rex drive team and the core right there. So